Sung, he's on the top shelf for the team on the left. He's playing Grixis Control against Chad Harney, who's playing Grixis Delver. Brock Mosley in the middle on Titan Shift against Joe Stempo, playing Red-Black Vengevine. And then Michael Cieszinski playing Mono-Red Flame of Keld against John Philip Whetstone playing Mono-Red Aggro. So this could be a real quick one, folks. These players will be given the go-ahead. And Todd, Black-Red Vengevine has to be favored here.
It's strictly goldfishing. It's strictly a goldfish matchup where neither player has a ton of interaction. And the Vengevine deck, I think, is slightly faster, though the Titan Shift has a small bit of interaction which could slow him down long enough to get something like a Primeval Titan or Escape Shift.
Well, we're going to zone into this match and see exactly what Joe Stempo can do. It's an Insolent Neonate. He will discard, I believe that's a Bridge from? That's a Vengevine.
It's a Vengevine, and if he has a 0-mana creature here, he gets to bring it back right now. That's exactly what he does. 4 power on play on turn 1 with haste.
Well, I'm going to do the check here for Brock Mosley real fast because his most important card in this matchup by far is Anger of the Gods, and he's got 3 of them.
Yeah, if he's able to get one of those off on turn 3, he could have a good shot at winning this game, but if he's unable to draw it, could be lights out.
Joe Stempo, by the by, he top 8 at our Season 1 Invitational. So he's no stranger to the spotlight, as he's now going to resolve a Faithless Looting, draw 2, discard 2.
Yeah, no Bridge from Below just yet for him, but he's digging for one, so all of his 0-mana creatures that immediately go to the graveyard can generate some zombies.
Pretty good pairing here for Stempo on his side. This is generally a really, really good matchup for Red-Black Vengevine, though, again, this Titan Shift deck does have some ways to interact, and boy, Anger of Gods is really, really good against this deck, so we'll see if it does show up. Lightning Bolt actually wouldn't be bad here either, and there is a Bolt. Would have loved to see that. Maybe in response to the Faithless Looting, could have worked himself into a bridge situation, but everything worked out okay, as now there's Greater Gargadon. Pass that turn back.
Could have also suspended that. Suspend doesn't actually use the stack. It's kind of a weird mechanic. So if he had suspended that before the Lightning Bolt was cast, then he would have been able to sacrifice it and get a counter off that Gargadon.
There's a Connie Heart Expedition. Don't see that card a ton in Modern. Don't even see it that often in Escape Shift decks, but it has shown up here. 2 copies for Brock Mosley.
Very, very good chance that Stempo here is able to play 2 creatures and bring back that Vengevine, but without his marquee card in Bridge from Below, his deck looks a little underpowered right now.
This is a Gravecrawler. That is a Hangerback Walker. Vengevine is back. Here's an attack.
Brock already down to 10. 6 power on the battlefield and a Greater Gargadon looming. He needs something very quickly here.
Of course, Joe Stempo not able to do the cool things with Gravecrawler, sacrificing it to Greater Gargadon and then bringing it back because he doesn't have another zombie on the battlefield just yet. Maybe down the road he'll be able to do that as there secure a Tri-Belder. Valakut's going to trigger the Colony Art Expedition. You need 3 counters to be able to blow that thing up and continue to ramp yourself. Secure a Tri-Belder will go a long way in helping that be the case.
Important to note, Joe Stempo, 18 life. Secure a Tri-Belder, can get a land next turn. Giving him 4. If he has a land, that's 5. Counting Heart is 7, and Escape Shift is lethal.
Not that hard to do.
No, it is not. And the Secure Tri-Belder puts up a body to block the Vengevine as well, so he's able to pad his life total quite a bit.
Well, there is your block. Here comes your sack. 2 effects. 1, Tri-Belder going to search for a land. Then you'll get a trigger on the Colony Art Expedition. Up to 2 counters, as Todd mentioned, and we could see Titan Shift, even though it faced down a turn 1 on the draw Vengevine, win this game.
Yeah, and even though Lightning Bolt didn't permanently kill the Vengevine, it came back the next turn. Importantly, it prevented 4 damage.
It may have done it just enough. Draw a card here with Brock Mosley sitting at 8 life.
There it is. He has both.
He does have it here. There's your mountain, trigger. Sacrifice this, get 2 lands. He's got 2 green sources. We'll see Escape Shift here for, looks like exactly 18.
Weird.
Yeah. Or not 18. Is it 18?
It's 18. 6 times 3 plus the Valakut.
It's early, which is not true at all.
No, it's like 1 o'clock or something.
Yeah. There's Escape Shift. Give me a Valakut and 6 mountain, my friends. Let's call this game a wrap.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest strengths of County Heart Expedition, being able to be a spell that finds you 2 lands, even though it's a little bit slower, allows you to be more explosive if your deck's functioning on all cylinders.
Stomping ground to Cinderglade, a mountain, and a mountain. 18, targeting you. Joe Stempo, you lose. Brock Mosley up a game here very quickly against Joe Stempo. Titan Shift. Generally a bad matchup here, but up a game against Red-Black Vengevine. No updates for other matches just yet, but this one, as I mentioned, should be a pretty quick one here. Because Michael Cieszinski against John Philip Whetstone. That's Mono Red Flame against Mono Red Aggro. Those two are going to be throwing some haymakers at each other pretty quick. And then James Sung and Chad Harney. Grixis Control versus Grixis Delver. Might have an update there soon enough. But we can turn our attention to the sideboards here. Get an idea what these players are working with because, boy, they are moving pretty quickly. We're going to start with Joe Stempo. 4 Land on the Void, 4 Thoughtseize, 4 Wismare, 2 Ingachur, and the Collective Brutality.
Well, Wismare only targets enchantments. It's a newer addition to this deck that I haven't quite seen yet, but seems pretty genius as a way to fight through Rest in Peace and Leyline of the Void. But however, I think the green-red deck's graveyard removal is going to be artifact-based or cards from the hand base, so I don't like Wismare there. Thoughtseize, I think, is going to be a good sideboard card as just a way to slow Brock down, maybe take away Escape Shift or Primeval Titan before it's able to make an impact. But that's about it. Collective Brutality is also kind of on the fence, but it is a discard spell, so it does have utility.
All right, Brock Mosley with your 2 Tireless Trackers, your 3 Damping Spheres, your 2 Relic Progenitus, 2 Broken Bond. Don't see that card a ton. A Beast Within, a Fog, an Obstinate Baloth, a Fracturing Gust, a Witchbane Orb, and a Grafdigger's Cage. What do we think there, Todd?
Well, while Grafdigger's Cage is normally very good against graveyard-based decks, in this particular matchup, it really only affects the creatures like Gravecrawler, Vengevine, and something like Bloodghast if it was in the deck. But it doesn't stop Bridge from Below and the Sacrifice Outlets, and that's a big deal. So I don't know if Grafdigger's Cage is even worth bringing in. It probably is going to be coming in just to shut down those creatures, but we could see it hit play and do virtually nothing. Aside from that, Relic of Progenitus obviously a slam dunk, takes away the bridges from the graveyard as well as can slow ball some of the early discard effects from Faithless Looting and such. But that's about it. Fog could buy him a turn against a Goblin Bushwhacker. I guess I would probably bring Fog in too.
I want to get him.
Yeah.
That's the reason I had to bring Fog in, is to get him.
Yeah.
That's
why put it in your sideboard if you're not going to bring it in against the Goblin Bushwhacker deck?
See, exactly.
You know?
You get it. We got some updates here real quick before we go over our Season 2 schedule. John Philip Whetstone did win game number 1 here over Michael Cieszinski. That's Mono Red Aggro up a game over Mono Red Flame. And then you see our head judge there, Jess Dunks, having a little conversation with James Sung. He unfortunately got a game loss for marked cards, so that's why Chad Harney is up a game here. So the team on the right, and Harney, Stempo, and Whetstone, currently leading things as they all work themselves in their second game of competition. And speaking of the number 2, we're in season number 2 of the SCG Tour. We've already completed a lot of these dates. Todd and I are here in Dallas next weekend. I'll be joined by Patrick Sullivan in Baltimore. And Todd, you're not going to be casting
I'm
spells.
going to the beach.
You're not casting spells.
I'm on vacay.
That's right.
For 5 days.
Todd's going to have his feet up. Well
hanging out with my mama.
Hanging up with his mama. Feet up. But we'll be in Baltimore. That should be a lot of fun. A little Modern Open there. Then we take a pretty healthy break before we go to Syracuse for some Modern fun. And then we'll have Legacy in Baltimore. Then we'll move forward, see what's on page 2 here. Columbus, that'll be a team open. That'll be Guilds of Ravnica release week, and that should be one heck of a show. And then we go to Philly after that for a team open. Love myself some Philadelphia. Dallas for an open weekend, Modern. We'll be back here. Charlotte for some Modern action. Regional championships. Go to StarCityGames.com/regionals for more information soon.
Vegas, baby!
We'll be going to, you going to that one?
I'm going to Vegas.
All right, Todd's going to Vegas. Patrick and I will be there casting that show.
May or may not be throwing some dice.
Okay. A little crap strategy, never a bad one.
Look, I didn't say I was going to play craps. I didn't say I was gambling.
I didn't say you were either. I just
Wholesome
decided.
Show.
Right.
But I'm going to be throwing some dice in Vegas.
Okay.
One way or another.
November 17th and the 18th.
I roll for a pizza.
Deal. Baltimore will be there again for the 3rd time in Season 2. December 1st and 2nd for Modern Open, and then our Season 2 Invitational Weekend, December 7th and the 9th, Modern Standard with a Modern Toppy at the Berkman Center in Roanoke, Virginia. 3 playmats, of course, for our players. Siege Gang Commander for our Standard Open and Classic players. We've got Lana Wells for our Modern Open and Classic players. Then Legacy Staple Wizards Lightning for our Legacy Open and Classic players. All these playmats free with your entry into Season 2 Open Classics and Infinite Challenges.
Nice.
Now we will turn our attention again or two between Avengevine, as Brad Nelson and Corey Baumeister would say it.
Vingevine.
Avengevine. Because we're from North Dakota.
Well,
that's sort of somewhere like Minnesota. Minnesota. You ever watch a show?
Either, don't you know, Fargo? Oh, you like their Fargo, son. That's one of my favorite shows, eh?
I want to go. I want to see that show. I've never seen it.
Oh, it's very good. Billy Bob Thornton plays a real cool gangster in the first season of that show.
Is that a North Dakota accent?
I don't know. Don't you know?
Okay, great. Great. It seems like
Dakota, Canada. Okay. Oh, they're basically the same thing there.
Okay. I'll have to check with Brad on
Meese? You ever seen a meese?
A meese? A meese?
What's the plural for moose, son?
The plural for... I can't even talk right now.
Got him.
I can't even talk. The plural for moose is moosin, by the way.
With an N?
Yeah, it's moosin. Many much moosin in the woods. The woodizen. You don't know Brian Regan? You need to get an education, dude. You need to get an education with your meese.
I mean, I've seen Brian Regan plenty. I have never seen that particular joke.
It's best stand-up. See, our director agrees with us. Well, this is important. Tell you what. What'd you order from Jimmy John's, by the way?
Doesn't matter. Meat on bread with some stuff.
Meat, bread, and cheese with a little...
Look, the sandwiches, they don't even do hot sandwiches. I can't even get like a meatball. It's got to be cold.
When are they going to work themselves
mayo
to a hot sandwich
or
game?
Italian? I can't even get ranch.
Well, that's
Can't
good.
get a chicken bacon ranch? What the crap?
I'm curious when they're going to work themselves in the hot sandwich game.
They're never going to.
They definitely are.
If they haven't done it by now,
that's just not
people
true.
Still eat there.
That's just not true. Chipotle didn't have queso for a long time, which turns out was actually the correct play.
Yeah, because queso is gross.
Their queso's gross. Queso's not gross. Their queso's hot garbage. Excuse me, lukewarm garbage.
Well, now we're not getting a Chipotle sponsorship,
yeah,
Cedric.
That's right. It's gone. It is lukewarm.
Burn that bridge, which would be better than lukewarming that bridge.
That's right. We have ourselves the Faithless Looting. We're completely off the rails here. Completely off the rails.
Well, we had about 4 minutes of gameplay and 6 minutes of sideboarding dead time that we had to fill while these players shuffled and such. We got a Faithless Looting to start off for Joe Stempo after a mulligan. He's conferring with his teammate, Chad Harney, here to figure out what best to discard. We're going to pitch some blood gas here.
What you thinking, Chad and Joe? Squadding up.
Again, one of the coolest parts about these team opens is that when you play with people who have a good understanding of the deck you play, they can help you in a lot of spots if you're unsure about which play to make.
Brock going to play a Stomping Ground on tap, going to fall down to 18. And it's, oh boy.
It might not be fast enough. The Faithless Looting was not particularly explosive from Joe Stempo's side, discarding a Stitcher Supplier and a Bloodghast, but he's able to get this Bloodghast back. So that Relic of Progenitus might not do very much at all.
Well, Joe needs to get rolling here. I need to see something explosive happen.
Hangerback Walker for 1.
No. That is not what the doctor ordered, Todd.
Well, I'm pretty sure that's what's coming.
Oh, boy.
I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. That's a Sacred Foundry, I believe. No.
No, you're wrong.
It's a Blood Crypt, maybe? I know he's got Sacred Foundry and Godless Shrine in his deck for that sideboard Whispmare.
I'm curious about Whistmare. What's it there for?
Rest in peace, Leyline of the Void.
Okay, those are good reasons.
Yeah.
Here's a collective brew.
That's why you pay me the medium bucks. Whispmare. It's one of those old Lorwyn elementals that had Convoke.
Convoke, huh?
It's or Evoke.
There you go.
Close enough. We got basically the opposite side of the spectrum of Ingot Chewer. It's a smaller body, but it's easier to hard cast. So for 3 mana, you actually get to keep the 1/3 body around. But this deck doesn't really want that. They want to trigger bridge from below, so it makes sense. It also has 2 Ingot Chewers, so it has the spectrum ways to answer Grafdigger's Cage, as well as ways to answer Leyline of the Void and Rest in Peace.
Stomping Ground untapped. And now we have Sakura Tri-Builder. In for 2. Might see a block here in just a moment. Yep. Block and sack. Little ramp.
Brutality stripped Brock of one of those escape shifts. I believe he had 2. If Stempo's able to find another discard spell, he could take away 2 of the best weapons from this Titan Shift deck, and one of the easiest ways for the Titan Shift deck to steal games when they're far behind.
It's like one of my favorite decks for no reason.
Yeah, I don't know why. It just goes ramp, 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 kill you.
It's like it's a fine deck. It's not even that good, but it can be in certain metagames be insane.
True dat.
It can be insane in certain metagames where every matchup is just like, I can't win. Just can't do anything. But like if the format's like hyper aggressive, then this deck's not a good choice. But to be fair, this is generally a really good matchup for Red Black Vengevine, and it's looking like Brock Mosley might just win this match 2-0.
Yeah, this is the fail rate of the deck. Like it's doing some synergistic stuff, but it's not really doing anything explosive. So something like an Obstinate Baloth sending him back up to 20 life is a big deal. The Relic of Progenitus hasn't even eaten anything in particularly good, but the threat of it means that Joe Stempo has to play in a certain way. Like right now he's resolving a flashback Faithless Looting, but he can't really afford to discard Bridge or Vengevine because it's just going to get eaten by the Relic of Progenitus before he gains any value.
Yeah. Just a real problem. Straight up.
All right. In the tank here, trying to figure out how to best play around this Relic of Progenitus, and honestly, I don't know if there's a way out.
I mean, this is a real problem.
Big old brick wall, 20 life, still has Escape Shift in hand, so if he ever hits 7 mana, again, 7 lands on the battlefield, that Escape Shift will be lethal. Unless Stempo can find a Thoughtseize or another Collective Brutality in the next 2 turns, there's a good chance he dies on turn, I want to say 6. With a ramp spell.
Yeah, Stempo not too sure what he wants to discard right now at all. Not too sure. Mostly because he knows that whatever I discard Relic is just going to suck up. There's your Stempo discard. Bloodcast gets blocked. And now we're going to head back over to Brock.
The discard ended up being a land and an Insolent Neonate, neither of which are graveyard related, which means that Joe might be holding on to one of his graveyard cards, or he might not have any at all. That lightning bolt off the top for Brock means that he actually might be able to close this game with natural damage.
Yep.
So he's gonna jam in here with his Obstinate Baloth, recognizing that he's at a much higher life total than Joe. And with that bolt, he could threaten lethal in just a few turns.
And I like this attack quite a bit. This game is certainly not working out here for Stempo. This is going to get back a Bloodghast.
Yeah, and that Relic could have eaten it while Joe was tapped out. And honestly, Brock's just like, you know what? That's fine. Doesn't matter.
There's an attack for 2. Brock says, I'm down to 16. 16 is a lot of life to work with. So now Brock is going to untap that Valakut, the Relic, and the Obstinate Baloth. He'll draw a card. Picked up a copy of Grafdigger's Cage, it appears. He'll play the Grafdigger's Cage. Does he want to attack again?
Now it's getting a little more dangerous, but I don't hate it. Oh. Just because 2 more attacks from the Baloth plus the Bolt is lethal.
He'll play a Valakut as land number 6, pass the turn back. We'll go back over to Joe Stempo, who's got nothing going on, just 2 Bloodghast.
Still just the 2 Bloodghast from Stempo as pressure. Not doing a ton.
There's Insolent Neonate.
Ooh, looks like there's a Goblin Bushwhacker coming in now, too.
Okay.
This is a little spicy.
So that's 2, 4,
10?
Yeah, 7-10. Might have to fire off a bolt at a creature now.
Yeah, the bolt on the creature and just hope that you peel the land, I think, is fine. I think you want to kill a Bloodghast just to deal more damage, but I'm not positive. You might want to just clear something like Neonate right now to force the action if he wants to use it.
Well, if you kill Bloodghast, it's gone for good. Because the cage.
That's fair. That's fair.
And also because of the relic. There are multiple reasons, but draw a new card.
That's a Primeval Titan. That should do it. This is not a lethal attack.
Yeah, Prime Time is probably going to be more than enough. Search for Tomorrow does it too.
Yeah, he's already got 4 mountains on the battlefield with 2 Valor Cuts. The Primeval Titan can get mountains 5 or 6, and they come in simultaneously so they see each other, and that's going to do it. That's going to do it.
Brock Mosley going to win this match over Joe Stempo. 2-0. Titan Shift taking care of Red Black Vengevine pretty easily. Maybe a bit of a surprise result there. Maybe showing that Titan Shift is better than people think. As taking care of Red Black Vengevine that even started game 1 with a turn 1 Vengevine on the play, attacking for 4. Lightning Bolt delayed things long enough. And Brock Mosley, with some of his sideboard cards in that second game, got the job done. That means the team of Sung, Mosley, and Cieszinski are currently up. And I think we're going to move over to our standard match now to watch Mono Red Flame against Mono Red Aggro. And we'll do the jump over. Let's see what the heck is going on here. Make sure our life totals are updated too. And here comes Earthshaker, Kenra, Hazoret, and a Chain Whirler.
That's a lot of damage.
Now, this Chain Whirler does have a -1/-1 counter on it. Of course, remember our black dice are -1/-1 counters. Our white dice are +1/+1 counters, or I'll call them positive counters.
Now, it looks like Michael's actually attacking for lethal here, and if Whetstone doesn't have a removal spell, which he does, it was going to be lethal. The 3 damage here from the Lightning Strike going to shrink that Earthshaker Kenra token, thanks to Soulscar Mage's ability.
Also, Soulscar Mage will get a little bigger with the prowess. Not that that matters all that much right now. So Hazoret will eat that. A little bit of damage will be dealt here, and we continue to play on. The follow-up will be, hey, you take 2 for my Hazoret. Thank you much. And you,
It was a stolen Hazoret?
Oh, no.
That's game!
I think you are right. Crew, attack you. That is going to do it. So John Philip Whetstone.
The texture of that game changed so quickly.
John Philip Whetstone's going to win his match for his team. So Harney, Stempo, and Whetstone tie it up. Now we got to move to Legacy. Boy.
That was quick.
Yeah, no kidding. The dynamic of that game certainly changed. So John Philip Whetstone, someone who's slowly but surely climbing up the SCG Tour leaderboard based off of his skill to play the red strategies, will get it done. And that means that the match is over, because now we find out that